Borderlands 4 is surely less than a year away at this point, right? Well, either way, I've been getting asked a lot about what I think Gearbox needs to do differently going forward with the games that we love. I previously made this video where I go over some of the essential things that they need to include in Borderlands 4, like dedicated drops, raid bosses, better story, and more. But what I want to cover in this video are the things that I think that Gearbox needs to approach differently going forward. So let's get right into it. These are the 10 new features that I think Borderlands 4 needs to have at launch.
And number 10 is...
My first change that I would include would be a way to reset particular missions or specific DLCs. Some players really enjoy resetting content for gear, but more on that in a second. Lord knows sometimes DLCs get soft locked, so having an option that allows you to reset a DLC without resetting your entire story playthrough would be amazing. Or say you just want to reset one mission for whatever reason, boom, click on your mission log and choose to reset mission option. This would have been huge for Borderlands 2, especially for getting multiple legitimate Sandhawks and Pimpernels. But even in Borderlands 3, there were items like the Ember's Purge, the Pearl of Ineffable Knowledge, and the Becca that you just could not re-obtain with a better roll.
Now let's see number 9!
That said, coming in at number 9, I don't want mission rewards to be a one and done thing. So at number 9, I'm calling on Gearbox to give us options for mission rewards. Borderlands 3 had a great idea with a crazy Earl veteran rewards machine, but it was limited to just base game and didn't even include all of the base game things like the aforementioned Becca. A vendor that takes specific currency, say maybe raid tokens or some sort of, special currency like Iridium to rebuy mission items. I don't know, I'm just spitballing here. Just give us more ways to get mission rewards. Maybe even give us a way to re-roll a specific mission reward as we get it, just like the BL2 Fix mod does for Borderlands 2.
And now for number 8!
At number 8, give us a way to level up gear that we got too early. Imagine you got the Pearl of Ineffable Knowledge in Borderlands 3, but it's a level 37 version. Well, now you're level 72 running Mayhem 11 because it's identical to Mayhem 10, just reminding people because there's still some that don't know that they're the exact same, but one removes the annoying modifiers, and you want your Pearl to be on level so the passes will work more efficiently. Again, some sort of hard to obtain currency like raid tokens. Again, I'm throwing out this raid token idea, or Iridium could be used at, say, Marcus's shop to increase your item's level. Or maybe this is just solved by the whole reset mission reward thing. I don't know.
Number 7!
Coming in at number 7, how about an option for choosing how frequently legendary items drop? Some players love the Borderlands 3 system of getting tons of legendary items even in normal mode, and some players want their game closer to Borderlands 2 system of giving you mostly green and white items for killing OP10 raid bosses. Personally, I want something closer to the middle of that. So why not add a slider or some other way that lets players play their way? Some people only have 30 minutes a day to play, so let them go wild with the loot. Others want constant challenge. Meanwhile, Wonderlands was on the cusp of actually solving this whole thing with their loot luck system. The more loot luck you had, the better your chances of getting world drops. But the problem was they attached that to dedicated drops too, and dedicated drops were never even the problem at all. Maybe a loot luck type system could be brought back, but it would only affect the world drops, and that would accommodate all players, and as far as I can tell, there's zero downside to something like this.
And now for number 6!
Coming in at number 6, how about a slider for visual effects? My lord, Borderlands 2 and 3 have way too much going on screen sometimes, with Borderlands 3's visual effects literally causing many players to just not want to play the game again ever. Give us an option to tone that down with a slider and give us the ability to pick and choose HUD elements. Suicide Squad might have botched their end game, but they definitely did HUD options very well. Let me disable the minimap if I want, then I can enjoy some hide and go seek with my audience, or let me turn off all HUD elements so I can just take in the beauty of the world around me. Options. I'm asking for more options.
Number 5!
How about yet another slider, but this time for difficulty? In some ways, Borderlands 3 did this by letting you choose your mayhem level, but I want to take it a step further because I know there's players out there that didn't feel adequately challenged by Borderlands 3's endgame. It was the right balance for me, but I don't represent every player. I'm a casual tryhard that brute forces his way through the endgame. Personally, I think a difficulty slider along the lines of Hades' heat system would work very well here. Let the hardcore players push themselves in their builds and gear to their absolute limits, while guys like like me strap on our bicycle helmets, hop on the shortest bus we can find, headed toward destination endgame. Honestly, this could also be a great replacement for multiple increasing difficulty story playthroughs like Borderlands 2's True Vulner mode and Ultimate mode. I do not want to replay the same story 3 times to finally start doing the endgame. Granted, Wonderlands tried this with the Chaos Chambers, but I think the problem was that that was the only endgame and the best way to get drops to improve your build. There's a balance to be had, but they just haven't honed it yet.
Okay, here we are at number 4.
Coming to number 4, how about mod support? Yes, even for console players. I know this one's a bit tricky, but there's many games that have mod support that works with consoles. Starfield is about to do this, Baldur's Gate is doing this, Fallout has been doing this for a while. The Borderlands community has a ton of amazing mod creators who generate massive amounts of quality of life improvements for the various titles. Hell, I would love to see Gearbox reach out to some of these modders and say, hey, can we use this mod in our next patch and then credit you in the in-game credits? How hype would that be as a mod creator to see your name in the credits for a game that you helped improve? But even if they didn't do that, having a mod repository for console players would be massive to keep the games alive long term. Look at Borderlands 2 community patch, randomizer, BL2 fix, and so many other amazing mods that have kept people playing that game for a decade plus now.
Number 3.
And number 3, this one's a little iffy, but I'm going to say crowd control connectivity. For those that don't know, crowd control is a cool app that lets viewers interact with your game. Some of you guys might remember viewer badass events in Borderlands 3. Well, that was a step in the right direction, but the chat could only control power-ups for that viewer badass and get to be named after one of the chat members. Imagine if chat could actually control the movement and actions of the badass. Currently, crowd control doesn't work with any Borderlands game, so far as I know at least, but they do have options for games like Hades, Skyrim, Stardew Valley, Pokemon, Hollow Knight, Dark Souls, Fallout 4, GTA 5, and so many more. Crowd control can also do some fun trolly things like making your character drop their equipped item, making you shoot nonstop, making you constantly jump, inverting your controls, and a lot more. Granted, these things are all more for the streamer / content creator side of things, but I'm also thinking about the implications that this could have on community events like The Hunt, where we could connect donations to actions in the game to promote even more support for St. Jude.
Number 2.
At number 2, speaking of The Hunt, how about a built-in collection option for gear? This obviously pairs well with The Hunt, but I'm thinking of it as like a Pokédex of sorts. Did you recently get a Hellwalker to drop? Go to your decks and see the stats on who dropped it, what level it was, the damage, and all that. Having all your collected gear on a tab would be so awesome. You could see that you're missing certain items from certain planets or maps, and then you can go chase them down. Take it a step further, include a bestiary as well. This way you know if you've truly seen and done everything. This is one of the many things that actually keeps me playing Pokemon Go. I hate having things missing from my Pokédex, so I'm always trying to find those missing pieces.
Honorable mention.
Honorable mentions. Challenge run playthrough options, including specific manufacturer only, so you can't equip anything outside of your selected manufacturer. Perhaps a timed mode, so you can track how fast you beat the game, a boss, or a slaughter map. A one life mode. And finally, I would love to see things like grappling hooks and wall running, so better traversal options, even jetpacks or flying vehicles.
Number 1.
Finally, my number 1 new feature would be swappable loadouts on the fly. How many times across all the games have you found yourself going back to the main hub map to respec a build to handle a particular boss or a group of enemies that maybe resist your current loadout? Probably a lot, right? Borderlands 3 once again was a step in the right direction, allowing you to at least change your equipped action skill and augment on the fly, but sometimes that melee Amara just isn't the right build for the job, you know? So along the lines of Destiny's item manager, you could click a button and swap a loadout on the fly. But here's the tricky part about this. The Destiny item manager requires an always online connection, and that's not too crazy in this day and age, but I know there's still players who play offline, live out in the country, don't have stable internet in general, so maybe it's still possible in game without requiring an always online setup. I don't know. If anybody's an expert in these matters, feel free to drop a comment down below and let me know. So I am curious to hear what you guys think Gearbox needs to do differently in the next game. Post your comments below, and best one gets pinned to the top of the comment section. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe for more Borderlands content. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.